need everybody that it wants to get involved to find out what their passion is, what they like to do, and contribute that to the movement, whatever the movement looks like for them. My name is Lou.Weaver. I am the Transgender Programs Coordinator for Equality Texas. So my job is to elevate the voices of transgender Texans, and so I get the great privilege of going across Texas and talking to transgender individuals, figure out who's ready, willing, and able to share their story, and how best to provide them with resources to share their story, and to be able to elevate that and get their stories out to the communities so that people know that there are transgender people that are their neighbors, their co-workers, their friends. And I also get to talk to Fortune 500 companies, medical establishments, and law enforcement officers. Texas is a huge state, right?
Yeah.
But it's also very different as far as cultures go. So not only are we vastly separated by miles, but we're vastly separated by cultures. The culture in Houston is different than the culture in Austin, that's different than the culture in Dallas, that's different than San Antonio or the Valley or El Paso or even Beaumont, Texas. And so the different areas have different needs. And so one of the things I go in and do is figure out what type of resources that I have access to would be best suitable for them. Some of them are ways to tell their short story. Some of them are ways to help advocate for themselves. Some of it is connecting them to other resources on needing access to hormones or doctors. Where do we find that care? How can we train doctors in their area? And so a lot of what I do is listen and then give back to what I think is going to be best based on what I have access to and what they need, because a lot of people, for example in the Valley or El Paso, their main concern is immigration and how do they get documented, how do they get care as being an undocumented resident, which might be slightly different than somebody in Dallas is what they're going through in there. Do the research. I mean, go on Google, read as much as you can, find out who other people are in your community that are doing things. A lot of times what I see are people doing a lot of things, but they're doing them in silos. They're not talking about them. We have a lot of ways to connect with other folks or learn what other folks are doing in a different area. Right? I can learn so much from what's going on in these other areas that I haven't thought about, that I haven't had time to think about, and why recreate the wheel? Right? Let's find out what other folks are doing, see if we can adapt it for our area, and go from there. And then plus, you have somebody that you can collaborate with. Who cares if they're 3 hours away? By the internet, by your, if you're fortunate enough to have a smartphone, right, you're connected instantly. And so then you can learn and grow together, and sometimes that'll take you together, sometimes it'll take you further away, but at least you have somebody that's on the other end of, helping you, sometimes venting or celebrating in your wins, being there to support you if there's a loss. And I think that's what's so important right now is don't look to somebody else to start it, just do it. I had no idea I was going to do this. I never thought that I was going to grow up and have this job. I mean, this job was not heard of 8 years ago, and I just started talking to people because Lily Roddy said, I need somebody to come talk to me, come on. And I was like, what? Okay. And so I just went and talked to people, and I haven't been able to shut up for about 8 years. So, I mean, that's why I get to do what I do. We need so many different kind of people, right? I love data, and I love the fact of the information it gives me, but I don't want to go collect it, right? So if somebody likes doing data projects or research or formulating statistics, right? Just because I'm a guy who likes to talk a lot doesn't mean that everybody comes behind me and likes to talk a lot. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a healthcare provider. If I need a law answer or a legal answer, I'm going to go find somebody who understands the law. I'm not going to go study it. I don't have time for that. And it's different for all of us. And sometimes people that can't, not everybody can be as out as I can as well. I have a lot of privilege. My documents line up. I have a job. My boss is not going to fire me because I'm trans. I have a job because I'm trans, right? My mom's not going to kick me out of the house. I have a roof over my head, and my landlord knows that I pay my rent on time and doesn't, and that's a priority. I have a dog at home that loves me. I mean, I have a lot of privilege. And not everybody can walk through the world like that. And I'm more than happy to be an out transgender man. And if people can't be out, what other ways can they contribute if they want to? Right? They can write op-eds. They don't have to show their voice. They can work behind the scenes, doing video editing, helping with social media, reposting things. They can be a silent ally or a silent advocate and say, my friends, they don't have to be a transgender person or an out transgender person to say, somebody I love and care about is a transgender or gender nonconforming person, and I care about them. And I think that those are very valuable friends to have as our allies, whether they're everybody can live their life the way they want to, but they can still contribute in whatever way they want to as well. And sometimes people that don't have time and blood, sweat, and tears might have a couple bucks that help somebody do something, right? And so there's a lot of different ways that we can all contribute. And so I think that's what's really important, is for people to find their niche where they feel like they belong, and then to be willing to start that and not look for somebody else to, pave your own way. Get going. What do you want to do? Hi, my name is Lou.Weaver. I'm the Transgender Programs Coordinator for Equality Texas. You can reach me at Lou.Weaver, that's Lou.Weaver at equalitytexas.org.